I'm Gokul Solai. I'm the CEO at Novatio Solutions. So we've been using automation anywhere probably since 2015, so it's 8 years now. If you asked me 8 years ago, it would be a lot different than now. I think initially when we started, a lot of it was back office work that we were using automation on. I think the solution has definitely evolved from that time to now. We're really focusing on implementing, a customer-facing, experience-facing use cases. One of the things is time. Time is the most valuable piece, and that's what we measure automations by now versus, cost and headcount takeout. So the automations now, especially with, Copilot, bringing in humans in the loop, we're seeing a lot of value there. So really saving time for our customers. It varies, and it looks on how much value the customer is getting, right? And so we've seen time savings up to 40 minutes, where really taking out the manual wait time and verification, having to call back because you get it right the first time. We also see times where, hey, we're saving you, a minute or even slightly less, but this is higher volume. This has to get done at the end of the day, and if it's not, you're losing a lot of impact on your company. So definitely a broad range, but really based on the value they get. So if we take an example of someone calling into, say from the healthcare side to get their benefits verified, typically it would take you, 45 minutes with the whole time getting information, validating it, prep work before and after. And now, we can do that autonomously in, a matter of minutes right now. A couple of things, with the pandemic, getting bandwidth was huge. Shifting to remote and hiring on top of that was very challenging as well. As far as the offering side of things, with the pandemic as well, there was such an accelerated use of the technology and, automation anywhere, the ability to really integrate with existing systems and especially systems that were old. Think about mainframes, been around forever. How do you tell a company, hey, look, we got to rip everything out, go through a 3-year process when you're scrambling to get something done in a month, right? So that flexibility part, the integrations, the other aspects of the platform were really what drove that decision. If we look at the processes, I think innately you're trying to solve the same problem. With automation, robots learn differently than humans, and they're very iterative and literal. So really looking at an organization from, hey, if you're training someone who knew nothing, one of the things we say, hey, you've got an alien coming down from outer space, how do you explain this process to them? So really diving into that tribal knowledge that really makes an organization unique is what we had to do differently. One example is typical process improvement, like, hey, go check your email. We know what that means. Go to Outlook, go to Gmail, whatever it is. But you have to translate that to another language. I think that's where, from the process side, bridging it was where we see the challenge. So a couple of pieces, we talked about the call center side of things before. With things like Copilot, Copilot is great at bringing, agents and humans into the loop, but creating that AI assistant who can almost tell them, hey, here's kind of the next step in what you should, that suggestive intelligence. And then also there's things that they may not know or may need some more information on. So really flipping that information, selective to the data an organization has over to the customer very quickly. And, simple queries that are coming in that, maybe take, 15, 20 seconds to answer. With that call, by the time you take your time, find the number or reach them by email and do that process, that's 2 minutes long. So you might as well have that information ready in a dynamic way that conversational AI and generalized generative AI can help you out. In the past, when automation came out with platforms like Automation Anywhere, that was a real change in how organizations did business. I think right now we're seeing an iteration of that with generative AI. We've laid the foundation down with these platforms. And our approach and our strategy is really the same. You've got to understand the technology from the people side, and we're the ones using the technology. And at the end of the day, you can't blame a piece of technology. It's still on us. So really establishing that at the end of the day, we've got to own this. This technology is not going to do everything, but if we do it right, approach it right, make sure we're ready, then you're going to have all the success in the world. If we look at the concept of bringing automation to a broader user group and an organization, I think the focus right now is, hey, let me show you how to build a car, right? So you have an IT department who's building cars out. Here's an instruction manual to build a car. You guys take it and do what you want. So the workplace has really improved to make it user-friendly. Other technologies there, plug and play, to really speed up the process. But we need to do a lot of work from educating them that, hey, look, you're not building a car. I need to teach you how to change the oil, change your tires, change your wipers, the essential stuff that you can't run the car with, but we can't trust you to build that car. So the messaging, and then also figuring the platform out to where they know where they need to interact, and they're really pointed towards that and given the help to do that. We hear a lot of acronyms out there. When Siri and Google came out, they thought it was going to solve a lot of problems, but at the end, hey, Google, order me an Uber. I could do that on my phone in literally 20 seconds, right? So understanding what the benefits are going to be from an education side, but then also saying, hey, look, these are the 10 use cases you can do in an organization with automation anywhere. Here's what we're going to teach you, and here's how the platform can guide you down those paths. So there's two pieces to that. We talk about a lot of involving humans in the workflow. I think, I know Automation Anywhere does a fabulous job with integrating, business users into the workflow. And that's a vital part of it, because the platform, that process, you wouldn't be able to automate with just the technology, or maybe you touch 40% of the volume. And so really teaching, users how to interact in a very relatable way with relatable interfaces, things that are intuitive to us, is where we've seen a lot of impact from the business user side. In the beginning, understanding the technology, very, very easy the way it's positioned by Automation Anywhere, especially since it's, hey, here's from a people side, here's a tool that's going to help you do what you signed up for your job to do. So from the understanding the actual intent of the technology, a lot of great resources out there. Initially, when you're implementing it, I think a lot of organizations, it's challenging because it's not just a technology tool. There's a lot of change management there, and that's where the lessons need to be learned, right? And so that curve is hard to overcome. But the technical side of things, in a matter of even, doing a botathon for 2-3 days, there's a lot of stuff that you can build, that you can replicate, and it's going to prompt, a thought of, hey, here's 10, 20 more processes to do. Further down the technical curve, getting into the more challenging integrations, I think leave that to the experts. And if someone wants to go down that path, there's a lot of avenues that you need to educate them on, but absolutely, doable for them. So it's a twofold answer, actually threefold if you think about it. One's obviously the education piece of it. So, hey, how do I learn the bits and bytes? What are these components that I need to do? The second part is understanding, practical ways to apply this, instead of, hey, take it out of a textbook and here you go, bam, run with it. So that piece is the second component. And then the third part is continual, improvement, monitoring, mentorship. So That's the curve that we're looking at. The immediate piece, like I said, you do it very shortly, and that other piece is ongoing. So I think it's departmental right now. There's certain things that are just pure play back office stuff, and really no need to integrate the solution in. Not to say there isn't a space there. From the call center side, we mentioned is one area where that would be integrated and become available as an option. Anything that involves document processing, it's a huge target there. Pretty self-explanatory. Those are the key ways we look at it. So far with the new enhancements, I think it's been a smooth process. It's a relatively new product. I think if we look at historically the evolution of that concept, absolutely I've seen the value, and with some of the new enhancements, integrations, the education and programs around it, the new use cases, functionality of the platform, I only see that established value, increasing exponentially. Yeah, absolutely. The biggest thing we measure is, experience, right? And so if that's going to higher value projects, absolutely. If it's going home at the end of the day and not taking work home with you, I think that's an even better benefit of it. With COE Manager right now, I think as you think about the whole evolution across your organization and being able to accommodate even new technologies like you had asked is going to be huge. The data analytics piece, every organization has their own tools that they prefer, and so that integration is fairly simple. And even from the infrastructure side and some of the other solutions, integrating automation anywhere, things like testing have been very valuable as well. The workflow piece, that's always been a benefit of the solution. I think it's only been enhanced. The document processing side, I think it's challenging because there's still a uncertainty or gray area between, here's structured, here's unstructured. We don't have the same, vernacular way to define it. But absolutely the intelligence there probably cut the time down, 50%, if not more, versus before. And that's time to do it, not accuracy or anything like that, which is improved. So APIs and applications, here's the thing there. When automation first came out and kind of the automation anywhere, robotic process automation form, they kind of shunned using APIs. They're like, hey, look, this can do everything. And that was kind of a challenge, because when you sold it to an organization, they're like, hey, why would I use this? Because I can just do something very simply on an API. Now, the thing right now is really embracing that and integrating it. Says, hey, look, we're using what you have already, which was the original pitch, and we're making it easier to use solutions. We're not selling you something that's, the whole hammer and nail scenario. You've broadened your toolkit with it, and I think they're very synergistic. Automation's been around for forever, right? I think everything from common platforms out there to internal tools that have been built. There's management tools, the ServiceNows, the Salesforces, SAPs. They've got their whole strategy and ecosystem. So I would say we've never not used a platform. I think I don't want to go into a nuts and bolts checkbox conversation. I think because you can skew a technical definition in many ways, but it's the people side of things, not to overemphasize it, but you're buying a people technology, and the team outside of even the technology is that putting that together is what makes it better together than any other tool or technical definition you can have. You want to work with people, you want to work with the platform. I think it goes hand in hand. I think there's definitely an ease of use piece. There's an intimidation factor when you're bombarded with, hey, here's this massive ecosystem, here's all the tools, here's all the bells and whistles. It's like the concept of, why get a Ferrari if you don't know how to drive? Sports car is stick shift, right? So I think just practicality, fit for purpose from the get-go, yet very flexible and versatile are some of the key pieces there. You always answer that question with what's the value coming to an organization, and we've established that. I think what it really comes down to then, excuse me, is the scaling piece of it, and I think you can't beat the price of adding a robot to give you pretty much unlimited scale there. So that's our viewpoint on it. Yeah, involved throughout the whole piece. If you start out pretty simple, starter package, let's deploy it. The challenges that cause delays are more from, we talked about change management, also from security and clearance. That's kind of outside of the platform, really working or not working, right? I think that's where the challenge is. That takes 80% of the time. You can stand it up in a couple of days. Sometimes it takes, a month, once again, for reasons outside of the platform. And to get it up and going, we've built use cases, in a matter of a week that you can put into play very quickly and iteratively improve on. Once again, depends on the complexity. There's some where, hey, if you're running it once a month, you don't have to dedicate someone to look at it. There's tools there where you can build automation to give you alerts. There's logs you can look at. I think for that you need someone there who's at least partially dedicated to doing that. Once you get into the 5 or 6 automation range, you really need to start thinking of, hey, I need to have a dedicated team. And then when you get to the 10, 20 plus, it comes down to how do you prioritize your time? Is it maintaining this? Is it building more automations? Is it evangelizing it? I think that's the point where, hey, look, let's pick the top priorities for us and partner with someone or develop another capability to support it. And that's a multiple people conversation there. One, you don't have to reach out to them too often, which is a good thing. With the new layers, I think it's good. And once again, it's the overkill piece of things. Have a few processes. You don't need top tier support and all. It's not just support; it's the other people and services you get alongside it. So I think combining that piece with the technical bits and bytes, bug fixes, updates, and stuff is key. So I think it fit for purpose for all different uses across the spectrum. I'd say 8.5. I think I wouldn't give anyone a 10. Maybe it's not that it's necessarily bad. So. Yeah, we'll go with 9.